So here we are, Nerd Lives Matter. Welcome back, or I should say welcome us back to fucking Nerd Lives Matter. It's been a minute.
We are the ever increasingly infrequent Nerd Lives Matter.
The laxest fucking podcast in the world.
Exactly.
But we are on the way. Where are we going, Dwayne?
We are going to the movie theater to go see Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Finally. After 2 days of hell.
I can finally catch up on like the fucking 30 hours of reviews and content, like spoiler reviews and shit that I've been wanting to watch on YouTube. To which we're gonna add our own
Yes.
stamp here after this.
Yes.
We're doing this pre-recording right now. We're pretty excited. We've already been kind of discussing some of the ideas that we have about what might happen or what the themes of the movie might be. Y'all know we're not just nerds, but we're we have our heads up our asses a lot with philosophy and shit like that. So we're probably gonna be more fucking wet about the themes of the movie,
Very
the
much.
fucking character motivation and development, because we're fucking the nerdiest of the nerds. But it's gonna be a good fucking time.
Yep, and
it's early as shit.
yes, it's Sunday morning at
Sunday,
not even 10 o'clock
Yeah, it's
yet.
not, well, I mean, we're slackers, so for us, that's pretty fucking early.
Yeah.
But granted, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep, half a bottle of tequila, 2/3 of a bottle of Black Hennessy, and an entire bottle of Svedka blueberry vodka that I repeated twice this morning.
Me, I got 8 hours of sleep. I'm well rested.
This guy.
I woke up nice and early.
I woke up sweating. And fucking sick to my stomach. I immediately grabbed my trash can. Mid-heave,
Nice.
I hear my fucking, my messenger go off. And I'm like, who the fuck is messaging me at 8 in the fucking morning on a Sunday?
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, so what movies? And I was like, oh, Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're going.
shit. I need to fucking get these demons out of my body and fucking get ready. So I did.
Yeah.
I threw up again. I shat twice because
We should be good.
NLM is also TMI. Just so
Yes,
y'all know.
yeah, you know, we bear everything. Okay, so it's down here, right?
No, keep going straight.
Yeah, down the off the highway.
Yeah, we're going to AMC Hebner.
Yeah, not my side of town, so I'm relying on directions.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's gonna be good. This is obviously the before shit. Just having fun going there. We'll get into some thoughts about what we want to see, what we might see here in a couple minutes. But we're gonna do this, and then after the movie, we're gonna do our initial reactions. I'm pretty sure we're gonna do like a spoiler kind of review at some point, right?
Yeah, we'll do the spoiler free right now after the movie. I think, you know, just kind of the initial reactions.
Yeah.
And then maybe next week or when we have some time, we'll get together and we'll do an actual good down home spoiler filled, you know, in-depth breakdown of what we saw.
Yeah.
It'll give us some time to process what we saw, because, you know, the thing I didn't like about the Screen Junkies one was they didn't have time to process it.
Yeah.
You know,
and neither did the Collider one or like Ken Knapsack from Collider. Like, it's a lot. I mean, granted, I haven't seen their spoiler reviews because I haven't seen the movie, but the initial spoiler-free reviews, they're more about tone. Yeah, they're more about tone, like what they felt about the movie as opposed to what they thought about the movie, I guess.
Right, and I want some time to chew on it and really kind of reflect on what I've seen before we really get in deep on it.
And at some point, I do want to see the movie a second time.
Yeah.
That's another thing, dude, actually. Like, actually talking about the movie, a lot of people are saying that the movie is jarring the first time you see it, obviously because of the different tone, the different style. But they say that upon second viewing, it's actually really, really fucking good. It feels more comfortable, like an actual Star Wars movie. What do you think? What do you think about that? Do you think that's bad that you have to watch it a second time to make?
Not at all. I agree that the great movies, you kind of have to see them a couple times before it really, you get the feel for it, you know? Like The Force Awakens, I was kind of in shock after that first movie, you know, and I'm an advocate of The Force Awakens. That's also a divisive movie. Some people hate it, some people love it.
Yeah.
You know, I was very in shock after the first one, and it took me quite a while to kind of settle into it. And after I saw it the second time, I felt I had a much better feel of it. Now, obviously, I don't think Abrams really went out to make The Force Awakens as jarring as what it sounds like.
Right.
The Last
Last
Jedi,
Jedi,
is.
yeah.
So
Well, obviously, I think it's pretty well known at this point that like what they were trying to do with the Force Awakens was bring everybody back into the fold.
Right.
So it was crafted to be super familiar.
Right.
I think they're actually going for like a push away with the Last
Right.
Jedi, which is weird because they are bringing JJ back for Episode 9 since Trevorrow's out.
Yeah.
So who knows if JJ is gonna have the balls to continue this, or if he's gonna kind of go back to playing it safe.
I think he will.
You think he will?
He can play it safe better than anybody ever, but he can also kind of jump out there and really fuck with your mind and things.
Yeah.
You know, look at Lost and the clusterfuck that was. You know,
I've never seen Lost.
Really?
Never seen Lost.
Oh man, that was a great show. You know,
I watched the first season like when it aired, and then I've never seen anything else.
And the problem with Lost is, you know, it was super awesome, but then he just started really fucking with your mind.
Yeah.
And you kind of start going, I don't know what to do now. And
But didn't that have like a Sopranos ending where the creators kind of were like, you know what, fuck you, fans.
Yeah, very much.
That's like, I don't want to fucking invest my time in that.
It's still,
It would be like watching The Last Jedi, and then at the end of it being like, Snoke is actually Kitster. You know what I mean? Like, cause fuck you, nerds. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, maybe, but
it would be like Andy Serkis with his Caesar voice, wizard. Yeah, I can't do Andy Serkis.
No.
But, yeah.
But you know, that's a good point. That's very valid. But from my point of view, it was worth it. You know, that kind of it wasn't like the end of Dexter. I don't know if you saw that.
Again, I saw
Also
first
great.
2 seasons of that, which is those are 2 really good seasons. They're the only ones I own. It's gonna be
AMC. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, you know, the difference is, the thing with Dexter is the end sucked. It was horrible. It was terrible.
So it's like over, like the show's like finished or whatever?
Dexter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for many
okay.
years. Is
Oh,
it in
wow.
here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know, and the ending was shit. It was horrible. Everybody hated it. With Lost, it wasn't really everybody hated it. Everybody was just like, you know, you really didn't know what to make of it, because in a lot of ways it could have confirmed your suspicions about the whole show,
Yeah.
or it could have denied your suspicions. So it was left kind of open.
I mean, that's cool. It's open to interpretation and
Yeah.
stuff, but it's also kind of like,
It was, yeah.
you know, it is a medium of entertainment. Like,
True.
you are being told a story.
Exactly, and there was no real wrap up to it. So I understand that completely. But, you know, my point is, you know, Abrams has that ability to kind of go against, you know, the play it safe feel. So I'm hoping that, you know, he can do that as well.
This fucking parking lot is empty.
Yep.
I have a feeling that these are the cars that are here specifically only for
Oh.
The Last Jedi
yeah.
at fucking 9:30 on a fucking Sunday.
Yep. We are exiting the vehicle now.
All right. I'm gonna hand this to you for a minute.
All right.
Don't vape, kids. Smoke, but don't vape.
Yeah, vaping's bad for you. All right, we're on our way out.
It's just kind of.
It's actually not. It's not as bad as smoking. Okay. Where's my little flippy thing? So this is the theater. We're walking into it. I can't find my flippy thing.
You can't just swipe it to the side.
Maybe, I don't know, iPhones.
See if it was an Android, you can just swipe it.
It usually has a little flippy thing. Fuck.
That's Apple for you.
Why are you doing this to me, Apple? I sat there and sang your praises.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah. Okay, now I already bought tickets. Do we need to stand in line?
No, I think you can go in there and like show your fucking.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're gonna do that then.
Show your barcode because I don't fucking know that. Yeah.
So we're gonna go now. This is Nerd Lives Matter signing out, so we can go do our thing later.
Bye bye.
Where's the shit?
That shit was fine.
So we're back inside the theater. We've made it in. No one seems to be giving us any problems. We're waiting for snacks.
If they did give us problems,
we cut
them down like,
yeah,
like
with our lightsabers.
like Kiadi Mundi and a bunch of battle droids.
Exactly. So I don't know what else to say right now.
Nothing much to say.
Yeah, we're worrying about, because we got really shitty seats. We're worried about, you know, being like super up front.
Yeah.
You know, having to crane your neck.
It'll be all right though. I'm not too worried about it.
We'll survive.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. What's this little
I
speck
am
of
realizing that I forgot to brush my teeth though.
Oh, good.
So I apologize for that.
Nice. You're gonna have to smell his stank breath, guys. Sorry.
I did mention I threw up twice this morning.
Shit, that's right. So, yeah. Yeah, we were talking about our shitty seats, and hopefully that we don't have to get whiplash by craning our necks. Not sure how that's gonna work out.
It'll be alright.
We'll see. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Is it recording?
Yeah.
All right.
So we're back. We saw the movie.
This is gonna be okay. First of all, we'll do quick impressions and thoughts, spoiler free, and then we'll cut and then we'll do another spoiler-ish one. But so okay, we watched the Star Wars movie.
Yeah, we did.
It was a Star Wars movie.
We think.
It wasn't bad.
No, not by any means.
It wasn't bad, but that was a weird movie.
Yeah.
That movie had I'm not filming you. There we go. That movie had a weird tone, man.
It left me flabbergasted as far as how to feel about it, because my first thought walking out was I want to not like it, but I wanted to like it. You know, I could not decide whether I loved it or hated it. You know, it was just, the whole movie is two extremes.
Yeah, it had when it was good, it was fantastic. When it wasn't good, it was bad.
It was weirdly weird bad. Like,
and okay, yeah, that's a good. It wasn't bad, like
what's going on?
Shitty. I don't know. This person's being
Look
stupid.
at this. We're going 20 miles an hour. Come on.
Zoom in on their license plate and give them shit.
Right.
But it wasn't bad. It was just fucking odd. It was some of the choices that they did with the characters, with actual things that the characters did, not just the characters' personalities or the things they chose to say.
The actions.
The actions.
Of what happened? Just
like what?
Yeah, it's a mind fuck. Is really what it is, because you're really trying to. What are you doing? Trying to decide how to feel about it.
We were just talking about this before we remembered to record. It's not prequel level bad.
No.
Those are badly made movies. You have to sift through all the garbage to get through the themes and what the characters are about and what the story is. Wow, this guy's a dick.
Wow.
And this one, it's not that you have to dig through a bunch of garbage to find the themes. You see what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
It's just what they're doing is just odd.
Yeah.
Awkward even. Like, it's awkward.
It is. It is very awkward. It's like Rian Johnson had a vision but didn't make it. Didn't quite get to that vision. You know, he went about it in such a strange roundabout way that it just leaves you with this bitter taste in your mouth as far as the choices that were made.
And they're giving him his own trilogy.
Oof, I know.
And okay, now granted, we just got out of it not 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And everybody that I've heard or seen a review of, or that I've seen their review of this movie, says that it's more palatable upon the second viewing. Which, speak what you want about movies. Well, you shouldn't have to watch it a second time. Whatever. It's Star Wars. It gets a pass. If I was to watch this movie again, I'd really be able to dissect it. Also, we were in really awkward seats.
Yeah.
I was fighting to not throw up the whole time because I'm a little bit hungover. But I was still able to tell, like, when they did really fucking weird shit with the characters. What is with traffic today?
I don't know. People are just doing weird things.
They all just saw The Last Jedi. They're all just fucking as confused as we are about life.
So. They're all sitting here like,
now,
I don't know what I'm looking at.
All right, so those are initial thoughts. Those are just spoiler free, like I said. Now we're gonna go ahead and just start going heavy spoiler.
Yeah, we're gonna actually.
And you can cut this, of course.
Yeah. Okay. I'll cut it here. Okay, spoiler time. What the fuck?
Okay, so Yoda's in it, which is fucking cool. I
cool.
love that. I honestly couldn't tell. I'm sure it was CG, but the CG was done to look like the puppet from fucking Empire.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like Puppet Yoda. It moved like somebody working a puppet, but it was obviously CG. So that was fantastic. No weird Attack of the Clones like Bunny Yoda.
But the first what the fuck moment is space flying Leia.
Yeah, I was gonna ease them into that shit. So there's a scene where Leia's ship gets blown up and she gets sucked out into the vacuum of space, and I was just like, so a lot of people die in this movie unceremoniously.
Oh, poor
Admiral Akbar dies
gone.
off screen. They just mention it.
Akbar's gone. Bye.
Fucking Snoke dies unceremoniously. It's fucking Snoke. Fucking Snoke, man.
No, anything. It was just like,
Snoke. Oh yeah, like I know I'm the bad guy, like, or I was built up to be this huge bad guy. These two movies, and it was like halfway through the movie. It wasn't even, I don't know. It was weird.
Just like late peace.
But okay, so Princess Leia, or General Leia gets sucked out, and it's like, holy shit, another just random death, just like that. Okay, well, no, it's like, I guess story-wise, it's like she coalesces with the Force, and she's able to use the Force to draw herself back into the fucking ship, into the safety of the fucking hold. But basically, it's a corpse magically floating itself to safety after it's in space. It was a little far-fetched, even for fucking Star Wars.
Yeah.
It was just so out of place.
Ridiculous, man. It did not fit at all.
I mean, I get that they're.
Where the fuck am I?
You're good. Just keep on straight.
Okay.
You're on my street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Once you hit the Whataburger.
Okay.
Like Leia, I guess that I get that they're trying to like say she is strong with the Force too. You know, they don't say whether she trained at all with Luke or anything like that. I think she does in the expanded universe stuff. So
she does, yes, in the
the new shit. Yeah, she does a little bit.
Oh, okay. Oh.
And so it's like they're doing that, but out of context of not being a sweaty nerd and reading all those things, it's just kind of like, oh, they can fly. They can bring themselves like isn't that what Darth Plagueis did?
I guess
basically,
so, yeah.
like, didn't she just bring herself back to life?
Pretty
like,
much,
isn't
yeah.
that kind of
She
a
was-
big fucking thing in the Force?
Space dead. She was in the vacuum of space. Her body was decomposing. Her molecules were starting to
She was like freezing. Like there was like
freeze.
ice forming on her fucking hands and
she was like, yeah, never mind.
like
I'm
no.
going.
And it was like it was something like out of that Wrinkle in Time trailer. You know what I mean? Which
For
looks
real.
amazing, but not in Star Wars.
Man. What else was there that was just ridiculously ridiculous? The whole the casino, that whole plan.
Yeah, that was just kind of blah.
It pulled me right out of the story.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, okay.
I don't know what it is about the aliens and the creatures in this one, and even to a certain extent in The Force Awakens, they don't feel like, I don't know. They just seem a little too like. They all remind me of the fucking bankers from Green Gods in Hogwarts. You know what I mean? In Harry Potter, like all of them look like that now.
Yeah.
Either that or they all look like the one X-wing pilot that always dies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Where are the Boffins? Where are the Twi'leks?
Yeah.
You know?
There was an Ithorian in there, but that
Was there?
about
I didn't
it.
even see that.
Yeah. I like the little snow foxes, or the salt foxes. Those guys were pretty cute.
Those are pretty cool.
The porgs didn't
The
really...
the titty monster.
The titty monster.
There's a titty monster. He fucking Luke's on the fucking planet, and it's like they're showing his daily routine. The Whataburger's gonna be up there, and then it's gonna be on the left.
On the left?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're showing like his daily like routine or whatever, and it's him like waking up, and he goes, and there's this giant weird creature like this. It looks like an Eope from episode 1, kind of overgrown but like fat on its haunches, and it had like 4 or 6
Bunch of
giant
nipples.
tits,
Yeah.
like not teats, like tits, and really big fucking nipples,
swollen milk nipples.
like dribbling with fucking. Oh, it was right there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, dribbling with milk, and Luke just fucking takes his fucking Academy Sports and Outdoors fucking water bottle and like just basically like uses the nipple as a spigot, like pushes the bottle opening up against the nipple, and it just pours milk in there, and then he just immediately from the nipple
Just takes a
directly to the it just takes a big swig, and there's all this titty milk like dripping down his disgusting beard, and Rey's just like, what the fuck?
She was thinking everything we were thinking at that point.
Yeah. There was just a lot of stuff that was really odd,
And you could
like
tell.
out of context. It really, or not out of context, but like out of tone.
You could tell the pacing was going to be out of tone immediately with that joke, which we all laughed
Yeah,
at.
it was funny, but like it was 1 minute into the movie, and not only that, but that joke kind of went on for a minute.
It did.
Like it opens up, it was Poe, just like in the first movie. He's like, so who talks first? You talk first, I talk first. In this one, Poe's like, he goes, he's in his X-wing, and by himself he goes up to Hux's like main ship or whatever, and he just stops outside, and he's like sends him a communication, and he's like, I'd like to speak with General Hux. And Hux is like, I'm here, you rebel scum, or whatever.
He starts monologuing, and Poe's
and Poe's just like, hello.
I'm still on hold.
I'm holding for Hux with an H.
Yeah.
And Hux is like, yeah, can you hear me? Oh, my bad, it was right there.
Okay.
He's like, can you hear me? And he's like, I'm still holding here. And Hux is just like, dude, I don't think he can hear me. Can he hear me? He's not, and then finally somebody's like, I think he's just fooling with you, officer. Yeah. And it was all a decoy or whatever, which is clever, but it just went on a little bit too long. Like, it was just
and I think
super out of context.
That set the tone for the entire movie. Just kind of it pulls you out of the movie so many times. You know, it pulls you. No. It pulls you out of Star Wars so many times.
Yeah.
That you're trying to figure out whether you can forgive that. You know. Or,
now, are we being guilty of living in what we believe Star Wars should be for us specifically? Is that what we're doing right now?
Oh,
like, are we
God.
mad because we don't feel like that's our Star Wars? Are we neglecting the idea that there could be new ideas and new ways of doing things in Star Wars?
We've seen two different versions of Star Wars. You know, we've seen the old, we've seen the prequel, we've seen basically what Star Wars can throw at us in the two different acceptable formats. You know, the two different feels that
have come so far.
And to just get thrown into this third different feel. I don't know. We may be being a little, elitist about it, but
I think we're being incredibly elitist. However, my problems aren't with the story. It's with the execution of some of the events. Like, yes, I think that Leia floating through space is silly. I get what they were doing with the story. I'm not going to blame them that, but the tone of some of the jokes, the way the mood of the movie swings, the way some of the shit is portrayed, and yeah, even to a certain extent, the way some of the characters are portrayed. I agree with Mark Hamill. I disagree with everything that that Rian Johnson did. So I'm gonna pause it.
Okay. So anyway, we're back. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm still not. I don't know if I said this in the earlier part, but I did mention this to you while we were walking out of theater.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like when episode 1 came out, I was all about the Kool-Aid. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. Star Wars could do no wrong. Hindsight was 2020. Episode 1, not a great movie. Recently, I've sort of become prequelist, and I sort of understand the story, the themes. The movies are made badly. I didn't leave this movie. I left this movie feeling like I should have felt after seeing episode 1. I didn't. It's awkward. It's a Star Wars movie. It's Star Wars. It feels Star Wars. It has that fun, but it kind of skews awkwardly.
Big time.
And
I don't quite agree with that in my estimation. I didn't leave feeling the same as I did with episode 1 because I flat out hated episode 1.
True.
And I don't hate this. I just don't know what to think about it yet. I'm processing. I think a second viewing is definitely going to help that out. Maybe I can absorb some of the things, the things that we saw that were wrong aren't going to go away.
Yeah.
Floating Leia in space, that's not going to go away. It's fucking ridiculous. You can't do anything about that. The choice was made. It's there. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But, it may give a better context to absorb some of the other stuff that went right and feel, a little more deeply on how that impacts me versus, me just focusing on everything that got me kind of confused and weirded out. And, I'd said this when we first started this like 2 years ago when we were going to do The Force Awakens, I said, the mark of a good movie is, it leaves you with memories. It leaves you sitting there thinking about the things that happened in that movie. It sticks with you. And walking out of there right now, all that really sticks with me is most of the bad, most of the questionable things that, I saw.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say the two things that stick out with me the most are actually the things that I loved about it, and mostly it was the scene with Yoda, and the scene in the throne room where Ren kills Snoke, and I love that. I love the fact that Rey and Ren did team up, and it was sort of they were on the verge of becoming a solidified power, and of course Ren was like, well, we can rule, and Rey was like, no, you need to be good. So I love the fact that it was very much the Vader and Luke thing from the end of Return of the Jedi.
Oh my god,
and they even used some of the same dialogue.
Yes.
She told Ren what Luke told Vader on the Endor base or whatever.
Yeah.
In the end, I mean, of course, it didn't happen. Ren ended up killing Snoke, thinking he was gonna have Rey to rule next to him, but instead she's like, nah, dude, you killed him, like, let's go be good. So they went their separate ways. So of course, there's more drama there for the next movie. So I love that scene because of the way they were playing with those themes. But like I was telling you earlier, like there's not a lot for anybody else really to do.
Yeah.
I mean, Finn and Poe and now what's her name? Kelly Marie Tran?
Yeah.
Rose?
Rose.
They had their thing to do, but their stuff was very, like I said, it was nuts and bolts. It was technical. It was like, we have to do this so that we can all survive. You know, the fleet can survive. The shit with Rey and Luke and Kylo, that was all very, that was the lore versus the war. You know what I mean? That was the shit about the Force and the Jedi. That was more interesting. There was a lot more meat there.
Right.
I mean, I don't necessarily... I have no right to feel snubbed, you know. It's a movie, you know. It was made. I chose to go see it. However, I can say that I don't feel as fulfilled as I hoped I would have been, with a follow up to something that was as good as The Force Awakens.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. And that's another sort of thing that kind of popped into my head throughout the whole movie. You know, they said that they were making this concerted effort not to mime or mirror any of the other movies. Wherein really what they did was they just mirrored both Empire and Jedi in many, many, many different ways. You know, like the whole salt planet could have been Hoth. You know, even the trenches, them jumping down into the trench was almost a mirror of the Hoth battle when they jumped down into the trench of the Hoth battle.
Yeah.
You know, the scene with Rey and Ren going up to Snoke completely mirrored Return of the Jedi.
That was all Return. That whole scene, that whole throne room and everything with the Praetorian Guards and everything.
Yeah, so there was a lot of mirroring going on, you know.
Which at this point you should, if they're gonna say, oh, our goal isn't to mirror, like just... It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, Lucas says it in the fucking beginnings documentary in episode 1. Like, these are
stanzas of poetry. Yeah,
poetry
exactly.
Supposed to rhyme over the years. That's what this is, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as overt as it was in The Force Awakens. So that was good. It was subtle.
Yeah.
I when I caught the fucking dialogue from Return of the Jedi, it caught me off guard, not because it pulled me out. I was like, hey, that's from Return of the Jedi. It was more like, ooh, that's good. That's right on theme.
And that's what popped into my mind too, was that whole George Lucas thing with the stanzas and the rhyming. You know, that definitely, you know, and that didn't pull me out. I noticed it. I recognized it. I kind of felt a little, you know, annoyed that they said they were specifically not going for that, and then they turned around and did it anyway. You know, I was like, really, just be honest about it at this point. So there's that, but you know, I'm definitely going to have to take a second look to it and really try and absorb a little bit more before I give a definitive hate it or love it answer. And most people who post it on Facebook, their first thing they say is, wow. And you don't know if that's good wow or bad wow. And there's a reason for that, because they don't know either.
I now understand, like, I've been so spoiler avoidy lately. I've just been, you know, anytime I see something about the about this movie, I glance at it, you know, enough to see that it's something regarding The Last Jedi, and then I just quickly don't. But every time I see it, it's like I always see, like, oh man, like this movie, oh wow. And it's like, I know that people have been kind of like interested in talking about it and the differences that it is. So I now see where the divisiveness comes from.
Me too.
I see both the good and the bad. But again, I think I always err towards seeing the good. You always err towards seeing the negative.
True.
Especially in these movies. I would pay to see just the scene with Yoda and Luke again.
Yeah, that was good.
Like, that was so good. And it was Empire Strikes Back Yoda.
Yeah.
It was jokey, like, I'm fucking Luke. It was Clone Wars Yoda. You know what I mean? Like, he had that sense of fun, but he wasn't, because not even speaking about like fan type shit, like theme wise, character wise. So I was telling you earlier that I'm getting into the whole prequel thing, and the idea that the order, the Jedi Order itself, was a fucked up ideology. You know, they themselves couldn't see past their own hubris, their own arrogance. They even talk about it.
Which they touched in the movie.
They touched in the movie. Okay,
they really did.
So, but Yoda was such a proponent of that. I mean, Mace Windu in the prequels was the main one that was sort of spearheading that whole fucked up ideology. But Yoda was right there with them. Yoda gave Anakin some really, really bad advice in Revenge of the Sith.
That he did.
You know, kind of convoluted ways of hiding the twins and all this and that. And then by the time he's in Return of the Jedi, it's like, well, you don't know him. He was a new character at that point because that was the first trilogy. So you didn't know how to gauge it. Now with this one, you have the original trilogy Yoda. You have the way he was portrayed in episode 1 and 2 and 3. And in this one, it's like, well, what happened to to that Yoda from the prequel trilogy. Like, I get that he was on Dagobah for 19 years, but
That'd make you
what
cranky.
happened in 19 years, it made his whole ideology shift.
Right.
Because at the end of Revenge of the Sith, he was still very pro Jedi Order. I don't know that him going to Dagobah would have made him change his whole philosophy on.
Well, maybe everything that happened, you know,
Yeah.
the downfall of the Jedi would probably make you change your whole philosophy. If your entire world was stripped away and crumbled away, you're going to look inward and say, what happened? Did I do something? You know, it's nature to think, to internalize bad things that happen. You always say, oh, well, you know, I must have done something, especially if you're the leader, if you're at the top of the chain, you know, you start to feel a little more responsible for that. So I can see how that would kind of internalize, you know, and really twist his way of thinking. But I don't know, you know, I'm glad we got to see the more fun, kind of whimsical, you know.
Yeah, that was Yoda. That was the Yoda that I fucking love.
You're dead, you're one with the Force. You really don't have much to worry about. So I guess that's kind of the, you know,
That was the most on-point character in the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because Luke, while Mark Hamill's performance was very Luke Skywalker, like his face is the way
he did a great job.
He did a great job with what he was doing.
Yes.
And Luke Skywalker was supposed to be, like, Luke Skywalker is a hero, you know what I mean? There's no Han Solo. I mean, there's Han Solo who's a scoundrel, he's cool, he's badass, but Luke Skywalker is heart of gold hero.
And he always had hope.
And
that was the main character.
And that's funny because it's the main thing of this trilogy, it seems like. Hope is everywhere in this fucking movie. Hope.
They took the one person that was supposed to have hope throughout the whole thing.
And killed him.
Twisted on it, and he literally dies.
Like he died. And in such a weird, like, you had a really good point. It was really redundant.
Yeah.
Like what you explained it. Like,
okay, so the death of Luke was really weird. He basically created, he's on his island, and he created a force projection of himself to distract Kylo of younger self.
with browner hair,
of course.
And Return of the Jedi hair,
that
should have been black suit.
Should have been your first clue right there.
Yeah.
But you know, he creates this force projection of himself to distract Kylo Ren and the First Order so everybody can get away. Well, okay, that's great. So Kylo Ren buys into it, and he's trying to hack Luke up, and you know, it doesn't work. There's no, you know, the lightsaber goes through him, and he realizes that Luke is a force projection and it's not real. Okay, so
that whole badass lightsaber fight that they just had, it was kind of like for nothing.
Yeah.
It was
notice Luke didn't. There was no lightsaber clashing at all.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Luke dodged every time. It was all dodges.
Oh, because it was he was Neo in this.
Yes,
he did the backwards thing, and the lightsaber just goes right over.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't even catch that.
So anyway, you know, after that, once Ren notices the ruse. They flash back over to the planet that Luke's on, the island, and I guess the strain of doing that was too much for him, and I guess he had a heart attack or something. I don't know what. He used the last of his force energy to become the. I don't know.
I'm half blind, and we were in real awkward seats, so I honestly thought that he fell back and then slid off the rock. I didn't realize he had disappeared, and so after it happened, I was like 2 minutes later, I was like, did Luke die? I was like, did he die?
I was like, yeah, man, he just disappeared.
I was just like, what the fuck?
It was weird. So it was very redundant because, you know, why couldn't he have just gone to the fucking planet, faced Ren, had a much cooler lightsaber battle than what it was, and I guess mirrored the Obi-Wan sacrifice.
Let himself get killed in service of the Force.
You know.
Especially, and I guess it's kind of our fault because one badass thing that I thought was badass, but now I realize it's not that badass, is that Luke Skywalker, he comes up to confront Ren, and Ren's in his ship,
that
and
makes
there's all
much more
those big
sense
gorilla
now.
walkers, and there's a giant army, and then just one single Luke Skywalker standing there. And Ren, of course, throws one of his Kylo Ren temper tantrums, and he's like, fire everything! And so they're literally there's 6 or 7 walkers and 4 or 5 spaceships shooting at Luke Skywalker. And there's all this dust, and to the point where Hux has to scream at Kylo Ren to be like, "That's enough!" And of course the smoke clears, and Luke Skywalker just walks out like a pimp. He even does the Jay-Z
like a pimp.
Yeah, he just brushes his shoulder off. And at that point, I was like, he's so powerful with the Force. No,
He was just a Force hologram or whatever.
He works smarter, not harder. I
yeah,
guess,
basically. That is kind of anticlimactic,
Yeah,
though. 'Cause it would have been cooler if he had brunted all that and had some sort of like major force shield
like
up
a
or
force
something.
field. Yeah, force shield. Yeah.
But no.
No.
But anyway. Also, another clue was the fact he was using Rey's lightsaber. He was not using his green one.
Had it already broken at that point?
Rey's lightsaber? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was after they had gotten off to the ship.
Yeah.
So-
He ignited the green. That was a big thing online for a while. They were wondering because everything was all about his blue lightsaber, Anakin's lightsaber, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's got the green one." Well, yeah, he uses the green one in this one, and,
Yes, he does.
his original lightsaber or Anakin's lightsaber, the one that we all know and love, broken in half.
It gets destroyed.
It's destroyed. Yeah.
In the battle between Kylo Ren and Rey.
And also, like, just how fucking Kylo Ren did that one badass move where he caught Rey's lightsaber and then just turned it on once.
Yeah,
that was cool.
That
shit.
was cool.
But when him and Rey were like fighting for the lightsaber, the blade end was facing him. She could have easily just used the Force to turn it. Yeah,
that would have been good.
And it would have been on par with just how willy nilly they killed everybody else in this fucking movie.
For real, man. It was like, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you won't die. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the first impressions of it. We'll probably do another one eventually when we can absorb it and see if we can go a little farther into it.
Yeah. Hopefully
maybe even
see it again with some better seats.
Yeah, and maybe some predictions for 9, which I'm not going to get into right now.
At this point, I don't know what I'd want. I can't even process 8 yet. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah. So anyway, that's us. We will be back whenever to do whatever and talk about stuff. So have fun, and we're out.